You're watching part 2 of the 10-part series covering the entities of the Backrooms. Alright guys, after 4 months, we are finally back here together. We are finally gathered for part 2. And I'm going to repeat this. I cannot stress this enough. I am very, very, very sorry. Due to circumstances that I was not completely in control of, work on part 2 has been very much pushed back by a lot. Those of you who have watched the apology video kind of have a bit more insight, but it really doesn't matter because, hey, part 2 is here. So last time, when I was editing the first video, I noticed that I believe Article 12 had been rewritten. I don't remember the names of the entities, but I do remember that I stated in the video that I was too lazy to update my scripts. So I had changed my mind. In this video, we will be going through entities 21 through 40. And I believe the first 10 recordings are still the old recordings. They're still from the old scripts. And well, what this means is that the data is from, I believe, December 2020 or January 2021. All of the other recordings, the latter half, are updated. They are, yeah, they are to date, I guess, accurate, if that's the word you want to use. So yeah, that is regarding the legitimacy, I suppose. Another thing. I had also noticed that there are now 1,000 entities, which is kind of weird because if I recall correctly, back in the day, like, okay, when I first got the idea, when I first visited the Wikidot, there were only about 200 or 100 entities even. This may or may not affect the amount of videos in the series, but we'll see how this progresses. Because a lot of the entities that are above 200 are just empty. So yeah, that's it. Again, I'm very, very, very sorry that I have uploaded this later. But other than that, sit back, take a deep breath, and enjoy. Entity number 21, nicknamed the Fray. The Fray are believed to have originated on level 8. They are humanoid in appearance, with the ability to float through unknown means. The Fray leave behind corrosive trails of an inky substance that, when interacted with, can cause major burns and the possibility of turning into a Fray. The Fray are mostly liquid, held together by an unknown source. The process of turning into a Fray involves prolonged exposure to large amounts of the liquid Fray substance. This process can either occur by falling in the tar pits on level 8, coming into contact or being contacted by a Fray, or contacting the fluid that the Fray leave behind. These entities are believed to be harmless or at least docile, however it is advised to not interact with the Fray, as this could result in you yourself turning into one. While the Fray do not chase or attempt to follow anyone, getting close enough means that the Fray will try to make contact and begin the transformation process, which is similar to the wretched cycle that I talked about in part 1. Entity number 22, nicknamed Warning Kite. When danger is near a wanderer, Entity 22 will warn the wanderer of the oncoming danger. Without a cause, they cannot be spotted or manifested. The kites are completely neutral towards humans and will make no attempt at harming any living being. However, when warning a wanderer, they will also make no attempt to stop the danger other than only warning the aforementioned individual, and, when out of range, the kites explode, releasing confetti from their interior and producing a sound similar to cheering children. Entity number 23, nicknamed Screamer. Screamers are extremely tall, skinny, and human-like creatures native to level -2. They float and use a walking motion in the air in an extremely jagged manner and are easily recognized with nothing but a large mouth on their head. They dart across rooms quickly and are typically identified by their inhuman screams. These creatures never make an attempt to attack, so they are considered safe for the most part. The only real threat they pose is reducing your sanity, so bring almond water, just to be safe. Entity number 24, nicknamed Death Rat. The biology of death rats depends on the level they inhabit, such as the hairless, heat-resistant death rats of level 2, but the most common form looks like a normal house rat, with a long body and black fur, the only exception being strange brown horns that sometimes glow red, and a diet consisting of male death moths and mold. Most death rats are harmless and can even be a food source, if you're willing to eat them, of course. Entity number 25, nicknamed Sark Crab. Sark crabs are virtually identical to normal crabs, though they have exhibited strange traits not seen in other species. Sark crabs are best known as pests that steal anything they can carry. Due to the large size of their claws and the surprising strength shown by the creature, next to nothing is safe from their clutches. These entities have been known to randomly disappear, whether this is caused simply by the crabs accidentally entering another level, or if it's an ability the crab has is unknown, though their behavior has been recorded by many. Sark crabs are noted to be incredibly violent, and as far as we know, they have very little differences to the Tasmanian giant crab, generally recognized as Entity 25's front room's counterpart. One notable difference, however, would be that every sark crab recorded or captured exhibits the strange trait of having one oversized claw, regardless of being male or female. This entity was first discovered by the captain's crew on level 134. Entity number 26, nicknamed Samantha. Samantha is an individual being, resembling a domestic house cat with black and white fur and green eyes, and can be found on levels 0, 3, and 5. As well as being capable of human speech in a variety of languages, Samantha possesses several psychic abilities, including clairvoyance, mind reading, and teleportation. She will coax travelers into feeding her any meat-based products they may have with them in exchange for a psychic reading. The accuracy of these varies depending on the cuisine you provide her with, ranging from extremely detailed to vague and sometimes even false. If you don't have anything to give her, or you don't want to, she will turn to violence, attacking like any cat would, scratching, biting, and clawing. While she does have an abnormally strong jaw and extremely sharp teeth, as of now, no fatalities involving Samantha have been recorded. Entity number 27, nicknamed Athenian Duck. Commonly found in level 302, Entity 27 looks identical to the front room's American Peking duck. They are very friendly and, like the other animal and plant species found in level 302, are under MEG protection. They are harmless, but there has been one incident involving Entity 27 where an MEG scientist, known for a frequent interaction with Entity 27, was brought in for an interview. They explained that they've been suffering terrible migraines and expressed the inability to think about anything but ducks. Shortly after, their head exploded, and from within emerged a full-grown duck covered in blood. Entity number 28, nicknamed Denizen. Denizens are the major inhabitants of sub-level 1.5. They do not currently have any documented physical description. The only individual known to have encountered them did not recount any visual encounters, but only auditory ones. The closest thing to a physical description given was when the explorer reached into the light bulbs that radiate darkness. He felt something of a sentient emptiness. It is advised not to contact the denizens. Upon contact, it is believed that they will latch onto some aspect of the individual and give chase for days on end. It will take a very long time to lose the hunter, and based on accounts, it is likely that the denizen will chase the explorer until they reach the quote-unquote core of level 1.5, where entity number 30, nicknamed Mother, lives. More on her in a minute. You also shouldn't panic. Panic will lead you to run haphazardly, which can increase your odds of making it deeper into the level. Entity number 30, nicknamed Mother. The previously mentioned explorer was also the only individual to ever encounter Mother. The only report of Mother describes her as a thickness in the air, and she will allegedly trap you and tear apart your flesh and soul. The MEG suspects that Entity 30 could be a form of insanity or schizophrenia exclusive to level 1.5. To avoid coming in contact with Mother, it is advised to avoid entrances to level 1.5 altogether. Entity number 31, nicknamed Camo Crawler. Not to be confused with regular crawlers, Camo Crawlers are strange humanoid monstrosities with 4 arms and a brown or gray color when in a normal state. These creatures have huge white blind eyes, instead using their hearing to hunt and attack wanderers. These entities are hard to find, but you may encounter one if you find yourself in level 61, as Entity 31 was discovered in that level by MEG Team Compass Point. With these entities, it's best to make as little noise as possible, and it would also be good to make sure there are no strange humanoid features on the walls, ceiling, or floors, as it could be a possible Camo Crawler. If you see one, don't panic and back away. Hello, and before we continue with the video, I would just like to state that the current information is from actually 4 months ago. I trust my future editing self to also mention that at the beginning of the video. To you, my voice may also sound a little bit different, I don't know, maybe. And also, if you hear a little bit of thunder every now and then, please excuse that. It's because outside, at the moment, is a thunderstorm. Entity number 32, nicknamed Animations. Animations are entities exclusive to level 94. They are hostile creatures that have the appearance of stop-motion cartoon characters, similar to those made between the 1930s and 1950s. The physical appearance of the animations varies greatly. Some will appear as puppets, while others will take the form of a claymation character. They come in a huge variety of shapes and sizes, however, their most defining trait is the way they move, which looks like a choppy stop-motion animation. These entities do not exhibit high intelligence, so your best chances of survival come from hiding from them. The exception to this is the Robo-Men inside the Castle of Transparent Mountain, who are highly aware of their surroundings. All animations show an extreme level of physical strength. In order to avoid animations, it is advised to leave level 94 altogether before nighttime. Entity number 33, nicknamed the King. Alright, given that there are 4 revisions, I'll try to give you the very basic rundown of the entity, then address the revisions themselves. The King is the figure of authority on level 94, and he resides in the Castle of Transparent Mountain, where he awaits visitors. Once visitors will arrive, a long dining table, along with 2 seats, will manifest before the victim. The King will sit down at one of the seats and will ask the victim to sit down at the other end. There is no way to refuse this offer. He will then allegedly trap you into an infinite maze. So, the author of Revision 1 really likes the King, stating, quote, "He has rewarded me well. The King has done nothing but good." The author of the second revision says that the King is not as he appears, and that he will turn you into Entity 32 under his own control. Revision 3 is something I can only really describe as the King being overthrown on account of this upper text, and the author saying, quote, "Entity 33 is powerless. He is weak. He is no king of mine." And the author of Revision 4 really dislikes the King, but more important than that, he says that the King is only what you imagine him to be, and can only do what you think he can do. So, if you think the King is nothing, then he truly is nothing to you, and therefore cannot hurt you. Entity number 34, nicknamed Dollface. Entity 34, instances of which are known as Dollface by wanderers, are small humanoid entities that can be found in the Backrooms. They are self-replicating and extremely hostile unless tamed. Interestingly, tamed instances of Entity 34 are often picked up by wanderers as pets. Dealing with a Dollface is as easy as taming one. Just offer almond water and act friendly. After this, the Dollface will act kindly to you and follow you around. It is not possible to tame one, however, if it is part of a large group. Quickly replicating groups of Entity 34 have been known to completely dismantle communities in the past, but responding quickly enough to the situation will render them just minor pests. Entity 34 is believed to be a variant of animations, based on interview logs such as this one, and their internal organ systems. During a vivisection, which is, by the way, gross and immoral, it was discovered that while lacking organic material and biofluids, instances of Entity 34 all contain some sort of functional organ system. Entity number 35, nicknamed Light Guides. Light guides are infinitely small points that radiate light. They are quite rare to come across, but when found, can lead wanderers towards supplies and help them avoid dangerous entities. They can move freely, being able to change direction at will, and are also able to phase through walls and other solid objects. The following is a notebook page believed to be one of the first records of an encounter with Entity 35. What was that thing? These glowy things, orbs of some kind, showed up out of nowhere. Out of every oddity found within the purgatory of existence, this is the one time I was actually helped by something. It led me to other survivors, other people, finally. I don't know what that thing was, but I owe my life to it. I asked the other survivors if they have seen anything like this and told me I was hallucinating. No, I know these things are real. That ball of light, as dumb as this sounds, may very well be the last time I am shown any compassion. I don't know what those things are. Angels, perhaps? Whatever they are, I sincerely thank them. Entity number 37, nicknamed Curabitterbird. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. These entities can be found in any level with a both modest male deathmoth population and large empty areas that they can float through. They are mostly harmless when it comes to interactions with humans, as they will flee if they notice any creature larger than themselves approach. Entity 37 was discovered alongside level 45, and they have since dispersed to many levels in which they find the habitat suitable. Entity number 39, nicknamed the Arachnids of level 8. The Arachnids of level 8 is a collective term for the spider-like creatures found on level 8. These spiders are extremely aggressive and poisonous, and should be avoided if possible. Level 8 is completely infected with these spider creatures, but not every single one is hostile right away. To ensure a best-case scenario while in level 8, it is advised to bring a flashlight, so you can see the entities, and almond water to neutralize any poisonous bites that you may receive. There are 3 known types of Entity 39 on level 8. The Arachnids. These are the quote-unquote normal spiders of level 8. They range anywhere from 2 to 200 centimeters in length and can be highly poisonous. However, they are not outwardly hostile, so if you leave them alone, you're likely to not be attacked by them. The Queen Spider. The Queen Spider is the mother of all quote-unquote normal spiders in the cave system. The queen spider is highly aggressive, poisonous, and about 7 to 10 meters in length. Frankenspiders are unique in that they have impressive regenerative abilities, as a gland found in its chest cavity heals the spider at an incredible rate, making them biologically immortal. It is, however, unconfirmed whether a Frankenspider queen exists. Entity number 40, nicknamed Reverse Defecation Bird. Alright, as a disclaimer, I'm gonna quote the original author of the article here. Quote, just as a note, this page does involve mentions of crap and defecation. If you don't like or are disturbed by those two things, I'd recommend not reading this page for your own benefit. Smile. For those who do absolutely want to read about that, please keep reading. Unquote. Entity 40 are an extremely common and believed by some to be an invasive species to the Backrooms levels that it inhabits. It can be found on levels 9, 11, 69, 172, 200, 230, and 566. Visually, they resemble typical pigeons that would typically be found populating urban environments. However, they are not perfectly identical to front rooms pigeons, as one would suspect. They are a little bit larger and wider, and their wings are large, allowing bursts of prolonged, seemingly somewhat strategic flight, though normally not for any longer than about 10 to 15 seconds. The head is proportionally small compared to the rest of the body, but it has all the normal components of that of the common front rooms pigeon, 2 eyes and a basic, yet sharp enough beak. But here's the thing, this beak is not used for eating. If you want to know why, you'll have to check this video. That's hopefully in front of you right now. So if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and consider clicking the subscribe button below this video. If you want to be notified when I release part 3, click the bell button so you won't miss out. But until then, take care and stay safe. It would appear as though there's like some kind of, other paragraph. No, well, not paragraph. There's like certain lines that I don't really want to add into the video. We'll see how this goes. Entity 40 unshit themselves, absorb crap on the ground and bring it back into their own bodies. Are known to force feces from the ground back into their own rear ends during periods of flight. What? What the hell, dude? Okay, so we got witnesses to events like these have previously described them as something oddly terrifying, even more so than the usual standard the usual standard foes these same people have encountered before. Quote, it was just like the weirdest shit ever, just being in level 11 with my group of people and just seeing a bunch of shit rise up from the ground, rise up from off the ground and into the back arses of pigeons. I mean, have you ever seen that? 'Cause I never had up until that day. Scary shit, I tell you. Yeah, that was pun intended. That was pun intended, dude. Unquote. Well, no, actually, I said pun intended, not the guy I was quoting. By David Getson on the 5th of January 2023. This is from the future. Whatever. Oh, there's some footnotes. I'm not fucking reading the footnotes, dude. Shut up.